So for dyeing, there's a couple things you're gonna need. You're gonna need dyes. I like to have these jars for like making base colors. And then you're gonna need some mixing sticks. I like these, what are these called? Pipettes. If you wanna mix a individual color, like a specific color, you need a cup, you'll need a teaspoon, and then you'll need something to measure water, and you'll need a cup of water for each color that you do. So on these papers, I have the recipe of how to make the different dyes. What you'll need first is, oh yeah, and you'll need urea and soda ash. So I have this organized where we make the base colors, and then from there you can take your pipettes and you can mix a custom color that you want in here. I don't want us mixing colors in these because if someone else needs that exact same color, I want them to be able to use it. These colors are only good for 1 hour, and so if only 2 of you are using blue and green, only mix blue and green for that day. Don't mix all of the colors. Only mix the colors that you need to make the colors that you need. And these are the powders for all of the dyes. And how it's gonna work is you pick the color you want. This is orange. So in the recipe, it says 1 teaspoon of dye. If you, actually, yeah, 2 teaspoons of dye, my bad. If you need a stronger color, especially a dark color, you need to add more dye. So, okay, so I'll mix it up here in the orange. So if I wanted like a black or a blue, I gotta make sure that I am putting enough dye powder in there. If I'm not, it's not gonna be dark enough, especially if you want it dark. So I got orange. I think I'll do one other color. I'll do yellow. Let's see if I can find yellow. Here's yellow. The nice thing is I labeled the lids with color, so that makes it kind of easy to know. But once you mix the dye, you're gonna know what color it is too, so I guess it doesn't matter too much. But that is 1. I need 2 teaspoons. 2 teaspoons of the dye. And then you need 1 teaspoon of urea. You can find this at like a lawn care thing. The soda ash, this is what activates the color and actually makes it like dye. This you can find in any pool supply place. I bought mine, I think online from like the online Walmart or something. So you just do a teaspoon. And then the urea, what it does is it just makes it a little bit brighter. So it's not like the most necessary, you can dye without it, but it helps. Soda ash. The soda ash, how much do we need? Urea, dye, water. 1 tablespoon. All right, that's the measurement I forgot in here. So you need a teaspoon and a tablespoon measure. Yep. So here's a tablespoon. I need 1 tablespoon of soda ash. And if you don't have a tablespoon measure, I believe it's about 3.5 teaspoons. Or 3 teaspoons, I'm not sure which it is. Okay, so we got that, and then need 1/2 cup of water. Right now I have 1 cup, so I'll just pour half into one and half into the other. So half. Okay. So a little bit more. Then we mix it around with popsicle sticks. You can use popsicle sticks to also help with mixing your custom color. Can you grab some brushes? Grab like 2 to 3 brushes.
Does it matter if they're graded?
No, just grab whatever. And you want to mix this until everything dissolves. The urea is going to take the longest to dissolve. But you want to mix everything until it's all dissolved. Make sure when you're dyeing that you're wearing a paint shirt, because obviously this is a fabric dye, so it will stain your clothes. Obviously, it will dye it. And so I'm mixing the dye, making sure to get everything nice and dissolved. The red is not mixing as well as the yellow, which is kind of surprising. But you just stir it until it's all dissolved. It's looking pretty good. Pretty close to what it should be. So I got some red powder in the yellow dye. It should be okay, I'm hoping. It'll just be more of a yellowy, warm yellow. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. So if I want to make a custom color, what I can do is I can take the pipette here and take the color, put it in here. Right here. And that would make like a custom orange if I didn't like the orange I had here. You can make it a little bit more yellowy, more red. You could also have a pipette for each color. That might be a smart idea. That way, you know, you're not mixing colors so much. There you go. That's more of an orangey color. Kind of creates this cool looking color. And for dyeing, you just paint it on, like so. And the cool thing about this is the wax, it resists it, so anything that has wax on it is going to stay white, and it's going to keep the dye from bleeding outside of it. So keep it like this, and like if I paint outside of it, it's obviously going to go outside of it. And then if I want to do some cool watercolor effects, can you grab me a little thing of water? I can water this down, and I can get different colors. So let's see here. Add another cup. Thank you. So let's say that I want a more watered down yellow. Just have some extra water. So over here I have one pipette for each color. That way the colors aren't going to get mixed up. Each student gets their own cup and their own little mixing stick for their cup. You want to make sure you have newspaper underneath. That way you don't get dye on your table. And some techniques that you can use is you take your dye and okay, here we go. We got a yellow. So say I got this yellow here. Brush that out. And I want to do a little bit of watercolor wet on wet technique. I can do some dots in here. And it'll spread out. And just know if you do water down your color to make it a little bit more pale, add more soda ash. That way it still makes sure to dye the fabric well. So a quick little reminder, when you're done with dyeing your fabric, what you need to do is you need to store it in a trash bag, make sure it lies flat, and then put it inside your cubby. That way it can dry overnight. Once it's done drying, the next day you'll take it out of that trash bag, and then you'll wash it out in a bucket of water with about a teaspoon of the synthropol. And then once it's washed out, you let it dry again, and then your fabric is good to go.